Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, and welcome to Three Digit World Cup 2026 Winners Bracket Final. We got a banger. We got number 1 seeded United States. We got number 2 seeded Hong Kong. I think they've pretty clearly established themselves as the two best teams in this tournament, and they're looking to battle it out today and find a spot in guaranteed top 2 in the grand final for the winner of this matchup. I am this one guy, and I am excited, and he is iFlame, and I would like to think he's excited too.
I too am excited. It's a brilliant caster prediction on that one. But let's quickly talk about what we've seen so far in this 3WC 2NG. It has been previously unseen dominance from the United States this year. They are undefeated in this tournament, and I went back and checked as far as the challenges go, which is back to 2019. No team has ever made it to finals undefeated, and so we'll see how far the United States can push that. And I know we both found some stats about some of the USA's top scorers these past 2 weeks, if you want to mention those.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, USA has just been on a run of form, the likes of which you do not see very often. As mentioned, 19-0 in total maps won so far in this tournament, have not dropped a single point. Last week, they won 7-0 against Team Canada. They dropped the top score of the week across all teams on 6 of those 7 maps. Week before, of course, won 6-0 over Brazil. Dropped the top score of the weekend on 5 of those 6 maps. I don't even know if the word dominance really says it all about what the USA is doing.
No, this is on another level. Dominance doesn't quite encapsulate it. This is something, it's not quite like anything we've ever seen before. So, United States, definitely the team to beat. However, counterpoint TNG, Misha Awa. I mean, I feel like ever since this past OWC, you got to talk about Misha Awa every single time he's on stream, because Misha Awa has gotten so good over the past, like even just half a year. The improvement has been crazy. You look at just pure individual performance, Misha Awa, number 1 in round of 16, 5th in quarterfinals, again number 1 individually in the semifinals, and Misha Awa just does not slow down. We do get some bans coming through. It is APBA, so Fremod 2 ban coming out from the United States. They're going to ban that streamy Fremod map, and then we get Hidden 3 DT3, so it makes sense. AR 10.5 can be pretty tricky, especially for a team like Hong Kong. And that Hidden 3 is going to be your AR8 overlap rating. I mean, they do have Ethan, but beyond that, they don't have too many dedicated AR8 players.
Yeah, might just be a comfort thing for Hong Kong on that Hidden 3. I would have kind of anticipated a little more of the raw mechanics, like something maybe like the Nomad 2 as the second ban alongside the DT3. But the Misha Awa thing, I think, is a big part of what Hong Kong does in terms of strategy. So, if maybe he doesn't feel comfortable with a map, or if he doesn't feel comfortable with a certain style, just get rid of that, because your best player isn't going to be at his absolute peak on it. USA Final Ban Fremod 4, which is basically slider tech, yeah. So an interesting, the double Fremod bans, but 2 very different Fremod maps. One of them a tapping based map, the other one a tech map. So USA saying, we just don't want to deal with Fremod, I think is mostly what that's about.
Yeah, it is interesting because they looked so good on the Fremods last week. I mean, they top scored both of them, Fremod 1 and 3, with Bashi getting the top individual scores on both of those maps. But Hong Kong is also a team that really likes to play the Fremods. I'm pretty sure they played every single one of the Fremods last week, and a lot of them were right behind the United States in second place. And so maybe just trying to ban out some of those comfort picks. And interestingly, there is quite a lot of overlap between these two teams in terms of skill sets and the kind of maps they've been playing. We've seen both teams really like picking into the hidden and hard rock pools. They tend to avoid some of the DTs, and the United States especially have been slightly weaker on the tapping maps, which evidenced by that Fremod 2 ban, and they're going to opt for a Hard Rock 1 first pick, and this makes sense. They got the top score on Hard Rock 1 last weekend, I believe, and it was Pez with the top score.
Yeah, it's God, I hate that username. It's 5 minute long consistency. Hard Rock first pick is an interesting place to start, I guess. If you're comfortable on, aim and some kind of flow tapping stuff, because this is really pretty basic in terms of what it requires in those skill sets, then, it might be a pretty good place to start. And one thing I'm going to be keeping an eye on, noticed no Misha Awa in for this, and no Misha Awa in as the captain to do the rolls and the bands. Something to track over the course of the match if he is actually having any sort of issues or isn't here, or maybe just, I don't know, busy with another match and this one's getting started. Keep an eye out on that, as he's just crucial, right? If Hong Kong's gonna have any chance in this match, it really needs to be him there. Whereas the United States really has a lot of roster depth. They can afford to have, maybe a player missing or a player not at their absolute peak. Hong Kong does not have that luxury.
Yeah, and it's probably a little too early to say Misha Awa is missing, because Hong Kong do have quite a few strong Hard Rock players, and you see 3 of them in this lobby. And so because of their depth on the Hard Rock maps, I could see potentially Misha Awa sitting out for this one. It does tend to be more of the HD player for them, and so doesn't necessarily mean Misha is not available. It is something we'll keep an eye on. We've got Flames Tier, Pez, and Cuck Chair is Decaton for the United States. And
how is that? Loki. How is that name even allowed? Like, how did that not get reverted? I really don't understand how that name is allowed.
I do not have an answer for you. Now, this hard rock one, it's a consistency pick, but it's quite streamy as well, especially in the beginning. And then once you get through these streams, it turns into a little bit more of your aim consistency pick that you'd more often come to expect from a Hard Rock 1. We do see a few early misses from Max Fierro. I mean, Pez trades one back, but look at the accuracy difference between those two. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Max and hopefully see some recovery in terms of that accuracy in the combo as well. And thankfully for Max, who looks like they've been struggling on the streams, the stream section is about to come to an end, and we'll hope that Max feels more comfortable on the aim. So United States going to find themselves with a slight lead early on, but the players now settled into the map, should be able to build up these combos.
Yeah, starting to reach, that 500 combo plus mark. You really do get the comfort level coming in as the map continues to go on and on. I feel like, DJ Sharpnel tracks often lend themselves to these just extremely consistently difficult maps. And you can kind of see that here. It's just stable in terms of, kind of the patterning and the play style that it requires. And players looking likewise quite stable as Pez and Max Burio both recovering quite well. Decaton Flames Tier holding on the matching FCs against A21 and F2X. There goes Pez, about a quarter to a third of the way through. A21 is going to trade it. That is worse off for Hong Kong. One of the 2 FCs goes down.
Yeah, thankfully, Max does have a really nice recovery. It's only going to be about 150 combo behind. So, yes, hurts to lose the SC, but that recovery is going to keep things in reach. 40,000 points is, we have so much time left in the map. This is a pretty lengthy one at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So, we're going to have lots of time for recoveries. There goes F2X. They couldn't afford to drop their second one, but Flames here does trade, and so it's going to be a bit of a wash on that one. Now it's just Max Fierro trying to chase down Decaton, but 150 combo back means the United States will continue to grow this score lead, but it's not going anywhere quickly, and Hong Kong have time to bring this one back, but they do need Max Fierro to hold.
Yeah, it's a light 1v1 here. Max Burio versus Decaton. There go Pez, Flames here, A21, all in the same bit of patterning. That is going to actually mean combo advantage will go to Hong Kong by a small margin once you add together Max Burio and F2X against Decaton. Not much, though. It's not going to really affect the score at any fast sort of rate. We're just watching Decaton, Max Burio, the consistency showing through here in the streams, in the sliders. It's a miss on nothing from Decaton. And now Max Burio free to fly here to bring this back.
Yeah, but how long can Max Burio hold? After this section, there is a space stream coming up that is incredibly tricky, and Max Burio may need to hold through that space stream to bring this one back. We'll see how long it takes, but All three players recovering, and Maxbro does hit that stream, and so that score should flip back over. Hong Kong looking to end this streak of undefeatedness from the USA. 821 does find the miss. That's going to slow things down. Flames tier trades. It flips back over to Hong Kong. There are still some tricky patterns left. There goes Pez as well. It's just Decatur trying to keep United States in on their first pick. F2X with a big chain miss, but Max Burio with the early misses has found a huge recovery. 1.7k combo. And Max will finally take down the United States.
That is looking that way. I mean, we've still got a decent amount of time left, but he is just refusing to miss, and that combo is 1,900 now. The lead by 100,000 points to Hong Kong, and I do think that this is done with now, especially with Decatur breaking, and just like that, 19 straight points are going to come to an end on literally the first pick of this match, which is pretty impressive from Hong Kong, man. Max Burio just with the crazy top score in the lobby. Supporting combo there from A21 F2X near the end when he finally breaks. And 19-0 is going to become 19-1, and it's a break point at that. So we'll see what kind of momentum Hong Kong can take in the early stages of this match.
Yeah, after what we've seen so far from the US tournament, this tournament, Hong Kong breakpointing them on their first pick was certainly not on my bingo card for this match, but maybe we're in for quite the match after all, as Hong Kong gonna have a chance at that pick on their own. It was just an incredible score from Max Burio, really settled into the aim, and it just goes to show, you know, some struggles on the streams at the start, but the aim is where Max seems to shine, and it's more than enough. 160,000 points is a pretty nice lead for Hong Kong on that one. Now they have to figure out their own first pick, and I mean, maybe they do want to go back into some of the Hard Rocks. Hong Kong has been incredibly good on some of the precision picks this tournament. They top scored the Hard Rock 2 in semifinals and looked pretty incredible on Hard Rock 2 in qualifiers, getting the #1 score there as well. So that is a potential option for them. With that said, this precision pick is like pretty fighter aim heavy. It's not your necessarily traditional precision aim pick where Hong Kong has shined, so maybe they're slightly less inclined to pick that. Otherwise, it's a little tough because the United States, they're kind of their weaker, slightly weaker maps. If they've had any weaker maps, you know, quote unquote weaker maps, have been the DTs and tapping maps. But Hong Kong has struggled a little bit more on those too, so it doesn't feel like a realistic advantage that Hong Kong can abuse much.
Yeah, I think this is kind of one of those situations where, you know, we talk about it a lot with United States teams. There just aren't going to be a whole lot of weaknesses you can try to identify to attack as any opponent. So it's just about, you know, option A is pick, you know, kind of the toss-up maps, your Nomad one, your Hard Rock one, like they just won there, you know, Hidden one, things like that, where more teams are going to have a better outcome, or just pick into your own strength and hope for the best. And Nomad 3 here kind of feels like doing a little bit of the latter. And worth noting, you know, Nomad 3 was the United States' worst score by a pretty massive margin last week. They got 10th out of 16 total scores on that one. And Hong Kong's score on last week's was 400,000 points better. So perhaps the Hong Kong roster feeling like they may have a bit of an advantage on the alt map in the Nomad pool. And, you know, it would open up maybe an option or two through the rest of the pool as well. But if nothing else, this seems like a pretty good place to start to try to consolidate the early break.
It certainly is, but it's certainly not a guarantee by any means. Nothing is against the United States. They've got some incredibly strong alt players. They've got, of course, Athantrix. I mean, Decatur was popping off in the Aim Control Heaven Grand Finals alongside Henry. If anybody watched that one, put up some pretty incredible scores. So, you know, after playing 9-star alt and Aim Control maps and looking pretty good on those, I think Decatur can probably manage this Nomad 3 at 7.4 stars. That seems to be light work these days. And then they definitely have a few options for their last player. Could definitely see Taquito in on a map like this. But for Hong Kong, this is going to be pretty telling. This is definitely a map you would have Misha Awa in on. And so if we don't see Misha coming in for this Nomad 3, you definitely start to get a little concerned for Hong Kong's chances in this match.
Eyes locked on that bottom right slot to see who ends up going into it. It is going to be Taquito for USA. Like that. F2X A21 Max Burio for Hong Kong. Maybe a little bit of concern.
Oh, no.
Maybe a little bit of concern. Interesting thing about United States, just in terms of performance scores, which don't really tell a whole story. Taquito was actually the worst performing player last week, so we'll see if he can, step it up this week in a matchup that may end up being a little more of a challenge. It's already, strictly speaking, more of a challenge than any match they've had yet this tournament, just on the basis of them having lost a point finally. So we'll see what decorated team member Taquito can do here. Caden Pez going to try to join him to get the break point back, but it's a good Hong Kong skill set. I do like this as first pick, and I am intrigued to see how it goes.
And I think we're assuming at this point that Ming Shawa is not available, at least for the start of this match, potentially later. We can only hope, but it's going to make picking for Hong Kong quite challenging going forward, because having your star player missing limits your pick options quite heavily, and so they're just going to pick to the skill sets of the players they do have, and for those players, ult is definitely the way to go. This is another consistency test, just like we saw on the Hard Rock one, because it's another lengthy map at 4 minutes and 34 seconds. So, yes, we see an early miss from Taquito, but we've got still 4 minutes left to go in the map, so it'll be a nice slight edge for Hong Kong, but there's going to be plenty of time to recover, plenty of time for more misses, and now we get into the first trickier part of the map. You get this really snappy ult patterns, some very fast aim. Pez is going to be the next to miss, and we're getting farther into the map, so these misses will start to be a lot more relevant to the score. They're already up to 30,000 points, and on these longer maps, 30,000 points is a much bigger score difference than you'd see on a 2-minute map. So Taquito follows up with yet another miss, and it's Hong Kong still holding that 3-way FC. It's Taquito alone trying to fend them off, and this is looking like a solid pick for Hong Kong early on, but they need to hold on to their nerves and manage this consistency into the rest of the map.
Looking pretty good at that so far, though. This is a very impressive team-wide performance through a third of the map for Hong Kong. Yet to see a single break. The aim, looking decent. There's a pattern miss from F2X, their first player to fall, but you still got A21, you've still got Max Burio. Double FC against the lone FC on Decatur. Does have the superior accuracy. The United States really across the board, but it is about the combo far more so than the accuracy. So let's see what happens going forward into the middle portion of this map. Max Burio, A21, just looking very, very strong. And right as I said, it's a break from A21. That 132k gap is now in danger. Taquito and Pez are recovering, and Decatur still matching Max Burio. It's, again, the 1v1, the same as the first map, right? The two FCs this time around, much like the FC and near FC, the previous pick. Can Max Burio be the hero for 2 picks in a row here for Hong Kong, as United States starting to build some meaningful combo on the recovery players?
Yeah, even if they can keep this 1v1 even, the United States should bring this back with the recovery combo, but there goes Taquito. That is going to keep Hong Kong in the lead for now, as F2X trying to chase down Pez, and obviously these two FCs are a wash in terms of score, so we're instead going to have to keep an eye on these recovery combos. They're the ones that are really going to make the score difference, and Max Burio finds a big miss on that pattern. Decatur is going to bring this one back over. That score is going to flip in an instant, and the question is, how long can Decatur hold? Oh, there goes their recovery combo on F2X as well. Now Hong Kong are falling apart towards the end of this no mod 3. I mean, yes, Taquito misses, but there was no combo there anyways. Pez and Decatur are just going to start absolutely running away with this, and this is the United States we come to expect from this tournament. Pez does find a miss, but honestly, as long as Decatur doesn't miss, nothing else really matters. And it turns out, if you can play alt aim control at 9.5 stars, you can play it at 7.5 stars as well.
Yeah, one of the skill sets that I think Decatur really does shine is, that crazy high-level snappy alt aim. He does fall in that pattern, though. So wait just a second here, because we still have A21 holding a big combo, but that falls on that tricky pattern into this last Ki, and any chance that Hong Kong had to bring it back right there is now gone. The United States going to get the break point right back bolstered by the score from Decatur, 740k and growing into the last moments. He'll put up over 750k here on the Nomad 3, 99.39x sparkling as well. And it was just too much Decatur for Hong Kong to handle. You can't say that they didn't put their best foot forward, but unfortunately the onslaught was just a little bit too much. Did not have quite that big score on the Hong Kong side that they would have needed to match the United States team wide. And that is going to tie the match up 1-1. Breakpoint taken, breakpoint relinquished, and we start over once more. Instead of a best of 13, now it's just going to be a best of 11. The United States decided that the first two picks were just going to be a couple warm-ups, I guess.
Indeed it is. But, Hong Kong definitely kept it close on that map. Obviously, it was their first pick. You would have liked to see a win, but they've stayed competitive with no Misha Awa, which is quite impressive considering how the United States have looked so far. And so a good showing early on from Hong Kong, of course, United States. It's going to be looking to be the first team to win their own pick with this next one. And they've done good on a lot of the ones. They really like picking and doing really well on things like the Nomad 1, DT1, Fremod 1, pretty much all the ones aside from the hidden one, which they haven't touched much. But I'm pretty sure last week Pez had the top score on Nomad 1, Hard Rock 1, and Decatur had the #1 score on DT1. So plenty of options, but they're going to switch to tech instead. This is interesting, right? Because I'm curious what it is about that Fremod 4 they didn't like, because that is slider tech, and this Nomad 4 is also just slider tech, right? I mean, there is like a fair bit of finger control mixed in rather than the Fremont 4, which is pure kind of slider tech, but it's still pretty similar styles of maps. Maybe there's just one mod I didn't feel comfortable on.
Yeah, this one, I think it introduces a little bit of a rhythm element as well. There's kind of some aspects of like a Nomad 6 with the, the kind of rhythm changing finger control that's going on in addition to the slider elements. So maybe that makes the United States feel a little bit better about it in this matchup. If you can run with like, I don't know, Pez and Ethan, and then whoever your third is, could be Decatur, could be Taquito, could be Flames even, honestly. You're just going to be able to put together a roster that maybe feels a little bit stronger than on that Fremod 4. Yeah, and this is, again, it's a situation where I think it's a skill set that the United States is pretty good at, and I also think that if, and you don't want this to be the case, but if Misha Awa is not here, this is the type of map that I think he would be very, very good at and would be instrumental to Hong Kong's roster for. So if you're United States and you're thinking, they don't have Misha Awa, let's pick into Misha Awa's skill set maps, because without him, Hong Kong is heavily weakened.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well. Potentially in the ban phase, you would not have that knowledge that Misha Awa is unavailable, so maybe you target ban that Fremod 4, say, okay, I think Misha Awa can really pop off on this. 2 maps in, hey, Misha Awa is not here. Well, now we can just pick all the slider tech maps in the pool, and because that's something that Misha would excel on and definitely play for Hong Kong. But looks like they're just going to be running this core for the most part of A21, F2X, and Max Furio. And we have seen some really strong scores from Max Furio, especially so far, has really stepped up in the absence of Misha Awa. And we'll see if we can do so again here for the United States. It is just going to be Thantrix, Decatur, and Taquito running this one. It's a pretty stacked lineup. I mean, if you look at the United States roster, 4 of those players are just straight up from their OWC team that got second place against, South Korea? Poland, yeah. I'm mixing up my OWCs now.
South Korea 2024, Poland 2025, so yeah, easy enough to do. Yeah, OWC members aplenty on the USA 3WC roster. Interesting that 3WC has been where USA struggles the most. They've, obviously historically dominated the OWC. They've historically dominated 4WC, but 3WC they've had some trouble in. So seeing if this roster can provide a little bit of redemption after finishing second or third for like 4 out of the last 5 years, having to go back to 2020 for them to have won it. Did see some early breaks in this map, though, getting back on track here a little bit. Taquito with multiple misses, A21 and Max Furio with early breaks. There goes F2X as well. And you can see what this map requires. It's the cursor control tapping elements, the slider aim as well. And it's a challenge, man. It's Max Furio and A21 keeping things on track for Hong Kong, but Ethan Trix and Decatur doing a little better. There goes Decatur, though.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance to bring this one back. There goes 821 who trades it back as well. And unfortunately for Hong Kong, they're really struggling with the accuracy as their last FC drops. The Fantrix, I mean, 94% is lowest accuracy on the team, but if you've got the last remaining FC, it's not going to matter, as up by 200,000 points, third of the map to go. It's going to be near impossible for Hong Kong to bring this one back. They just don't have any recovery combo on their team whatsoever. And even if Ethan misses in the next like 20, 30 combo, it's just not going to be enough time likely for Hong Kong to bring this one back. They've even got to, okay, it's a full team reset. That's going to do it. United States finally winning their own pick and keep the momentum going after winning that Nomad 3. Fantrix finally dropped, but has done more than enough on this map, still getting a very impressive score.
Yeah, and you've got Taquito and Decatur on some solid combo coming into the ending as well, so if there was ever any concern, they made sure that that was not to be the case. And this is much more like what we expected, I think, out of the United States in this matchup. You know, it's a little bit of a disheartening stat to see, but in the maps that these two teams had in common in semifinals, USA was winning them by 400 to 500,000 points. And this pick, they won by 633,000 points, with the double S rank coming through for Ethan and for Decatur, versus a couple A's and a B on the side of Hong Kong. So this is a little more of a return to expectations, unfortunately for Hong Kong, but fortunately for the United States, for their team and their fans. This is what we, I think, a little more anticipated on some of these super high skill requirement, the real skill cap maps in the pool. I think this is what you can kind of expect from this USA roster.
Yeah, and it makes the picks interesting for Hong Kong at this point, because I was looking at maybe the precision pick, but again, that's very much, I mean, Misha was the #1 individual score on last week's precision pick, and so with that missing, it becomes incredibly tough, and it doesn't seem like Suwagi is around this week either. I mean, based on the first 3 maps, I have to imagine Suwagi would have been in for that Slider Tech pick for certain, and so Hong Kong missing 2 key players, and so really limits their pick options. I honestly don't know what you go for. I mean, keep it in mind that we're probably just seeing A21, F2X, and Max Berio alongside Zoomery. Those are a lot of their Hard Rock players, and so maybe we just see them try to pick out the Hard Rock pool regardless. Maybe we see them opt into more tapping, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's a big question mark now, and I'm kind of curious, in addition to the discussion about Misha Awa, what the story is with Suwagi. I don't think he played in their quarterfinal against Australia. He played, I want to say, 1 map last week in their semifinal against Chile, and he appears to maybe not be playing here as well, despite being one of the best tournament players in their country. I'm not entirely sure what the story is there. I'd love to find out. But hey, we're going to just pick the best song in the entire pool. A song from one of the greatest albums of all time. A song from the ultimate separate the artist from the art sort of album. It is going to be All of the Lights. This is pattern alt, a lot of snap aim. It's Xarius. His song representation is up there with the best of them. Really cool map. Big fan of this one.
It's a really fun map for sure. I mean, it is another long one as well. We're truly picking all the 4.5 minute maps in the pool. And the one nice thing for Hong Kong is that they have played a lot of free mods, and not only that, but they've had so much variety in which players are taking which mods. So even missing Misha, they're not necessarily going to be hurting for mod players. Like we've seen, I'm pretty sure 3 different players take the hidden at various points. We've seen like 3 different players play Hard Rock at various points. The only one available who's played the hidden is A21, so maybe forced onto that hidden, even though it's not preference. And then we'll likely just see F2X in for the Hard Rock, which lets Max no mod. And then for the United States, it's a little bit more standard. We tend to just see an Ethan, Deca, Boshi roster, with obviously Deca, Hard Rock, Ethan Hidden, and Boshi, who looks so good on the no mods. Played 2 of them last week, Free Mod 1 and the Free Mod 3, and Decatur got the top score on both of them on that no mod. So we'll see if Decatur can repeat that, or sorry, if Decatur can repeat that performance.
Yeah, and we've already
Boshi,
seen.
sorry.
I would say, well, and speaking of Decaden, though, obviously we have already seen him look really, really good on Nomad 3, and we discussed, kind of at length his ability on the alt pick. So assuming he is in for this, that is a solid player to look for, even with the Hard Rock. This is only CS 3.5, so the HR is not quite as crazy as it might be. But yeah, honestly, man, USA with this roster on an alt free mod, Ethan Hidden, Boshi Nomad, Decaden Hard Rock, good luck Hong Kong. I do think Max Birio playing a solid match so far, 821 F2X, will put up reasonably good scores, but it's a lot to ask for against the USA roster that's as stacked as this one is for this particular type of free mod map. So looking for a battle again. I mean, the Nomad 3 went, pretty far before it, was decided, but Hong Kong gonna have to be at their best to avoid another break point just on about any pick that's left, especially with the players that seem to be missing from their roster today.
Yeah, I mean, have to say, despite the missing players, Hong Kong has looked really about as good as you could expect. They've kept things. I mean, they won the United States first pick. The last two maps, they did lose, but they kept the score incredibly close, within reach for sure. And so they've looked strong. We'll see if they can keep that up on their second pick, this free mod 1. They do want to keep this one even, take a second point off of the US and the mods. Max Birio is going to be on the Hard Rock instead of F2X this time around. Otherwise, everything is going to be as expected. And no early misses. This is a bit more of a consistency test. As I say that, A21 is going to find the first miss, but you do expect to see some slightly higher combos on this one. That is a really tricky pattern. It claims to, thankfully for Hong Kong, it is just going to be the trade, but does mean they remain down one full FC. And really nice for the US. They have both of their modded players on the full combos. I mean, maybe makes it more likely that they will drop later in the map, but for now, they're going to be really enjoying that extra score multiplier.
Yeah, it's just going to be some free score gap for United States here through that verse. But there goes Decaden, the instant miss as the beat comes back in as we go towards the next chorus. So Ethan against Max Birio. It's going to be multiplier advantage Max Birio and combo advantage to Hong Kong. So we'll watch. Again, it feels like it's just a battle of it had been Decaden versus Max Birio a couple times. Now it's Ethan versus Max Birio. But the backing scores for Hong Kong doing a lot of work here thus far as F2X and A21 both dropped the instant. I say that. Oh, you hate to see it, man. Max Birio alone once more, and Ethan supported this time by Boshi and Decaden to bring that combo and the score lead just a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's deja vu having flashbacks to the Hard Rock 1 and, well, all the previous maps where Max Birio has been absolutely popping off. Max Birio has been having a fantastic match, but unfortunately the United States have 3 players on solid combos. Obviously, Athantrix is matching that full combo, and then you've got the 2 big recoveries. They still have the map to go, so plenty of time for Hong Kong, but there's just so much pressure on Max, and the pressure builds. It is too much, and Max Birio finally finds that combo break, and now Athantrix, Boshi just going to run away with this one. F2X drops his warding combo as well, and it looks like the United States, and they're not in the clear just yet, but there's just no combo on Hong Kong.
There's no combo on Hong Kong, and there's Ethan doing Ethan things. The level that guy has been playing over the course of, the past year and change is just absurd. Anybody who watched him over the course of Hippo Cup over the last few weeks, and of course, dating back through his performances on a lot of maps in OWC last fall, guy's just been at a crazy level of play on anything that is even vaguely resembling his skill set, which is expanding seemingly by the day, by the week. And here he's got the lone FC on this free mod, looking to put the United States ahead 3-1 in this match, and doing it so far with style. Little upward slider pattern at the end of the Fergie verse here. Just gonna add some more combo, just gonna add some more lead. We're gonna see, it looks like, another 500k plus victory for the USA. They're looking to have regained the level of dominance that they have achieved so far this tournament.
Yeah.
I am God. Oh, okay, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a good score, but it's not that good of a score. It is still finals, all right, in 3WC. So, but I mean, I guess he's earned the confidence. It's been a great run from the US.
Yeah. He's a bit of a prankster. I'm not going to take that too seriously.
He does enjoy chatting.
Also, wait, is he actually just cosplaying Kanye West? I didn't even think about that. Yeah, maybe he's just cosplaying Kanye West.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, yeah, good catch on that one. Matrix is so funny, man.
Also, shoutouts to how high Decaden's AC was. He did drop below 99 finally, but he had the 99.1 plus hard rock AC until just a moment ago. Ethan does finally miss, so no FC will be forthcoming, but this has just been one-way traffic. 700k plus win for the USA on this point. Never really in doubt, iFlame?
No, pretty much from the halfway point, this map was over, and I don't know that have the stats on this right now. I'd have to go check, but I'm quite curious what the second best team score on this map is, because I don't think anybody else is getting anywhere close to 2.1 million, and this was a Hong Kong pick. And so the United States continue their trend of having the best free mod 1 scores, and now the United States have the next pick. They've also top scored no mod 1 in semifinals and quarterfinals, so maybe they just go back to no mod 1 this week. It is a very standard no mod 1, very comfortable consistency map, and so they could go for that. They could also just try and abuse more maps that Misha Awa would normally want to play, which, I mean, to be fair, is kind of everything, no?
So to answer your question, the map has only been played once previously. It was played in Australia versus Canada. Australia put up a 1.4 million, Canada put up a 1.2 million, United States just put up a 2 million. So best score of the week by 600,000 points.
Yeah, that sums up the USA's tournament so far quite nicely, I would say. They've got the next pick. They're going to go for Hidden 2. Not the A-Rate map, but it's going to be more slider tech. They're truly taking advantage of Misha Awat being missing with these slider tech picks, which is the smart thing to do at this point. I'm sure they would like their free mod 4-man ban back.
Well, yeah. And, now you got the momentum on the United States side. You got some ideas of what you can pick that's going to go well for you. And you can just kind of go straight down the list. This is actually kind of a banger, but it's also, I don't know, the musical opinions can be what they are. Also, there are some circle tech elements to this one, more so than just being a raw slider aim test. The ending, the last, I don't know, quarter, 20% remind me of Chronokinesia, if you remember that map. It's been in several different tournaments over time. It's got a big control tapping section at the end of that one as well. Kind of has similar vibes to me as the ending of this one, but okay, the music right here, this rhythm change into this 1/3 rhythm is so dope. Big fan.
It's really cool. Musically, it is so much fun. And even mapping wise too, that rhythm change leads into much more of a slider aim section. So nicely done on the mapping there, along with the banger song. And this is a custom as well. So shout out to the mapper, who is Flies. Thank you.
Sir, I had to double check that one. It is on our screen, fortunately.
Oh, you're so right. Meanwhile, I'm checking the map sheet.
Yeah. Dear OSU tournament cheaters, please start putting mapper names on your spreadsheets again. I don't know why everybody stopped doing that. I'm not really sure why everybody stopped doing that, but
you see them every time. But now it's quite rare that you see the mappers on the sheet.
Very strange. But be that as it may, we're gonna head into another USA pick, try to consolidate here for the 4-1 lead. You've got Decaden Bashi coming in for this one, or staying in, I guess you could say, for this one, alongside Ethan. Max Beerway 21 F2X. I mean, that's just who we're seeing for Hong Kong, of course. No Suwagi, no Misha Awa, and Zumari not really in the roster for the types of maps that we're seeing. So, away we go. See if United States can back up a couple of really solid wins with another one here. Really start to run away with this match if you get the consolidated breakpoint for 4-1.
Yeah, into the build-up, we'll see if anybody misses on this first aim control section. Every player managed to hold And here we get a little bit more of an aim control heavy slider tech section. It is going to be Decaton, the first one to miss. Drops some accuracy as well. No one trading it back on the side of Hong Kong, but there are a lot of tough patterns left in the section. A21 does find that trade shortly thereafter, so that's going to even things out, and it's going to stay relatively close. A21 follows it up with a second miss, but not a big combo. It is going to be another trade, F2X Ethantrix this time, but Max Burio drops this time. Bashiman does not trade that back, the only one to survive that first Ki, and that's going to be massive for the United States. They're going to start to really build this one up, but here we go into a much heavier slider aim section. You get some snappier aim patterns, and we'll see how long Bashiman can hold this combo. Decaton on a really good recovery as well.
Says a lot about the United States that you are on a map like this and you're almost surprised to see anyone in for it. Bashiman, though, showing up and proving why he is in on this pick. Not necessarily the first name on this roster to think of with tech, but maybe, just maybe should be, because this is a remarkable performance so far, holding the lone FC in the lobby, 800 plus combo, 99 plus act for him, as well as Decaton. You've got the recovery coming in from Hong Kong, right? It's not like it's over, but the United States is just saying, we don't care about your recovery combo because we're still holding our initial combo. There goes Decaton. Bashi kind of crucial here, but it's a full reset for Hong Kong. And that is over. No, it is over. Yeah, just in case it wasn't for a second there, it is now. And into this cool, like, tapping control aim section, it's Bashi, it's Ethan. They're pulling this train into this station. It's going to be 4-1. United States really is running away with this match now in a way that looked like they might not on those first couple of picks, but they've really gotten the momentum going. They've really gotten the energy in, and this is looking like the dominant team.
Yep, and I suspect at 1.9 million team score, they're probably, again, close to 600, 500k, something like that, ahead of the second best score on the map, if anybody else has played it. At least for Hong Kong, they do have the next pick. They haven't won any of their picks. Finally, their 1 point came on the United States first map, but it'll be... I don't know. It's really tough to predict the picks on this one. Mishawa has been so vital to this team the last few rounds that so much of their pick strategy has been centered around what Misha can play, and it's paid off for them big time. They've not dropped too many points on their way to the finals. I think 2 in each of their matches, just off the top of my head. Yeah, 2 against Chile, 2 against Australia, and 2 against New Zealand. That's some consistency. But maybe I still think, just based on the players they have, they tend to be stronger on some of the aim-focused maps, Hard Rock as well. So it's very scary because the United States have been picking aim everywhere they can this whole tournament, and then now you're kind of 3 players that are in for this match, that are available for this match, are kind of your dedicated aim players, your dedicated Hard Rock players, and so that makes it really clear to pick. They do go for the Nomad 1, and again, based on Hong Kong's current roster, I really like the Nomad 1 pick, but at the same time, United States have top scored the Nomad 1 in semis, they've top scored the Nomad 1 in qualifiers, or not qualifiers, in quarterfinals as well, and of course it was Pez top scorer in that Nomad 1, so they've got a lot to fear on this one.
They do. I mentioned this earlier, kind of, when we were going into the second pick of the match after the Hard Rock 1 win for Hong Kong, and your strategic approach to this match, if you are this Hong Kong roster, and one of the options was to kind of pick, maps that are traditionally seen as a little bit more of a toss-up. So which is generally speaking going to be aim stuff, because everybody can play aim to some degree. No matter who you are, if you're playing in this tournament, you probably can play aim at least a little bit. And so, the variability on the aim maps is generally speaking pretty high, right? Your gap between your best possible score and your worst possible score, it could be a 900k or it could be a 400k, and that's really just the basis of like 2 misses on aim spikes. And so, you're Hong Kong, you won the Hard Rock 1, and you want to give yourself some sort of chance of having, a 3-man roster that's going to at least be able to have a chance, an opportunity at winning a point. I think going into the aim isn't the worst idea, because United States have now kind of proven that you're not going to win tech in this matchup against them. Like, it's just not going to happen. Alt is a bit of a question mark, and you've already picked it's already been a couple of the alt maps, and USA won both of them. So where do you go from there if you're Hong Kong? You're not going to pick reading into this USA roster. So I guess you're just picking aim and hoping for the best.
Yeah. And that's all you can do, right? It's really you really can't criticize Hong Kong here for any of these picks. I mean, yes, the United States can obviously play them at a very high level. There's a solid chance they win this map, but I do think for sure that Hong Kong are picking the best maps available to them, given their roster options here. So, and they've kept a lot of maps close, honestly. Keeping so many of these maps as close as they have, I mean, last two maps notwithstanding, without one of your most important players, is still very impressive. And we do see why Hong Kong is that second seed and has looked like a pretty clear second best team so far, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to sound rude or dismissive. The first two maps were close, and they were 1-1. And then all three maps since then, the USA has won by 630k, 730k, 730k again.
Okay.
So yeah, so
I
like
thought
the first two maps,
closer, to be honest.
yeah, the first two maps were close, and it has not been close since then. This map, however, will give us the opportunity, I think, to see another close point, just by the nature of aim as a skill set. If anything is going to continue to be close, like I was saying, I think it's most likely to be this. And you can already see, like, you know, it's just big jumps. That's all this map is.
Yeah.
Just big jumps. And so, you know, you maybe you hit them, maybe you don't.
Yeah, I mean, this map is like the definition of no mod 1. Like, this is like the most thoughtful the no mod 1 can be. And I think a lot of people wanted a little bit more of a comfortable no mod 1, because it seems like that was missing somewhat from some of the earlier pulls. And now we get a very comfy, well, at least in terms of patterns, consistency tests. We do get a couple of early misses, just going to be A21 and Decay in trading. So Boshi Man going to be the next miss, but again, immediately traded back by Max Furio. And that is what has been tough for Hong Kong. The United States are finding misses, but Hong Kong is trading them back every time. And then F2X find the miss, so the United States doesn't trade it back. And now Pez has a chance to start really pushing this score lead forward, seeing how far they can build up this score gap as Max Furio follows it up with another miss, and Hong Kong really struggling on this section. I mean, these are tough jumps, but they're going to need to find recovery somewhere.
And Pez, man, his aim has been so good. Anybody who saw him play Call Me It in Hippo Cup Grands 3 times last weekend and just had like 2 out of the 3 top scores on the map for the week, as well as another, I think his third was like in the top 6 or something, finally does break. But USA up by 100k, and like you said, Hong Kong just not able to establish any recovery at all. Yes, United States has now fallen on all 3 members, but it just doesn't matter. You're halfway through. It's 118k score lead for the United States, and there's literally no combo anywhere. The biggest combo in the lobby is, I think, 73. Yeah. This map is just very, very challenging aim. It's, you know, near 8-star aim, and this is kind of what happens. And, you know, Pez was able to hold on a little longer than anyone else, and the United States has a lead as a result, and it's going to be very hard for Hong Kong to do anything about it.
Yeah, and there is still half the map to go, so that score difference at 100,000 points is, in theory, within reach, but on these longer tournament maps, 100,000 points can be a lot bigger of a score gap than it seems, especially with so little combo on the side of Hong Kong, and they can need to trade. It is a full team reset for the United States. It's going to help a little bit, but the combo is just not really there. I mean, it's 2 300 combos. It is going to bring the score lead back slowly, but they're going to need to hold for quite a while to bring this one back. At the very least, the possibility is there. Max Furio unfortunately finds a miss now. Hong Kong, they can bring it back, but A21 is going to have to likely FC almost the entirety of the rest of the map, and the ending of this one is very tricky.
It is, but A21 is a damn good aim player.
Yeah.
He has made his name time and time again, I feel, over the course of his time in the tourney scene on aim. And the United States struggling. He does go down, but you still have F2X and Max Furio with a bit of combo. The opportunities here for those 2 members to try to bring this back. F2X on 350. The score gap sitting around 40,000, though. I think Pez is close enough to prevent it. And there goes F2X, there goes A21 again. Max Furio going to have a little combo, but it's not going to matter because Pez and Decaden are there. And like we said, this was the opportunity for Hong Kong here. It's the type of map that at worst case scenario you can keep close, best case scenario you can win. And they proved that that was very, very true. But unfortunately, not quite true enough for them to actually get the point off of it. The United States built that lead and just clung to it like a cat on a towel out of the dryer. It is going to be the USA with a small win. It's going to be their closest win of this match, but they're going to take it.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Might have to steal your cat line, add it to my repertoire. That's a great one. That's so funny. But yeah, I mean, that was a good showing from Hong Kong. But the United States continue to be the United States in this tournament. They have the next pick, and feels like they have so many options. At this point, they've picked pretty much tech for the last few maps, but I'm not sure if they have any tech left in the pool. Nomad 4 picked, HD2 picked, DT doesn't have too much tech because the DT3 is banned out and the Fremont 4 is banned out, so they are going to have to switch things up. They do, of course, still have a lot of good options. They could potentially switch over to something more gimmicky, and they are going to do exactly that with Lag Train. I mean, Lag Train speaks for itself, I would say.
Lag Train's a banger.
It is. It's so good.
I just like
sliders.
It's like kick slider jump patterns. But they're just but they're cool. And it's also like you have to be able to play the first verse, I guess, kind of the first section out of the intro where it's just like the endless repeating triples. That section is also gonna require some tapping.
Yeah, I don't recall too much tapping, but maybe I skipped over that part.
It's like it's one section. It's one section, but it's triples for a while. At it's like 220 BPM. It's not horrible, but it is gonna be there. But other than that, yeah, it's a lot of sliders, and I don't know. It's just not the sort of thing you see every day. Like that's what I love about DT4 slots. It can just be whatever.
Yeah, it can be anything. I think a lot of times it ends up being like something like DT Tech or, some like old style like 2008 DT map. But it is nice to see something like Lag Train that you often don't get to see in tournaments. And we are going to have, I mean, obviously the same lineup for Hong Kong. Just waiting on that last player for the US is Decade Pez. And, I mean, they could put so many players in for this one. Maybe we see Boshi come back in. I mean, they could even... Yeah, it is Boshi.
Let's just have Boshi play everything, man.
Why not? He's doing well.
Right, like... I'm trying to phrase this in a very careful way. A lot of the times, Boshi can end up feeling a little bit like an afterthought. He gets banished to the free mods and the precisions, right? Like, that's just what you think of when you think of Boshi, man. But you have to remember that, like, Guy is just good at a lot of things and can often go into fill for skill sets that he is not maybe 100% known for and put up good scores. So just put him in for stuff and let him do his thing, because Guy's good at the video game. So away we go. This would be 6 points in a row for the United States if they win this. Something about a runaway train, never coming back.
So
USA.
Sad. One day, the train will come back for us, surely. Right now, the United States are on a train to the most dominant run we've ever seen in 3WC, and based on how this match is going, as long as they don't collapse in grand finals, I think the United States are certainly going to have a case for the greatest 3WC roster in history. As at the current state, we've got 2 maps to go, and they've improved their map record to 24-1 TNG. That is absolutely insane in finals. I mean, before this match, the only team to ever make it out of even quarterfinals with an undefeated record was the US all the way back in 2019. No other team has gone undefeated through the quarterfinals. And here we have the United States, made it to all the way to finals undefeated, and now have only given up 1 point with 2 points left to go. This one is incredibly close, though. We've seen a lot of misses on both sides, and it is Max Burio who has been so strong for Hong Kong today. The last one holding the FC, and we'll see if he can make that 2 points off of the United States, as they are very well primed to do so. That score lead flips over up to 40,000 now, and this is a really free combo section for Max Burio to put Hong Kong further in the lead. And the United States don't really have the recoveries, so Max Burio is going to have a little bit of a buffer to work with into this ending. Here we go.
Yeah. This is really, really impressive stuff from Max Burio, man. He's been having such a great match. It obviously gets overshadowed a little bit just due to the incredible team-wide strength of the USA, but he has been the factor that's kept Hong Kong in several of the maps that they've kept close. He was the reason they won the one map that they have so far, and looking like he could be the reason that they take a second point here as well. 150k score lead, still a quarter to go, and not much supporting combo, but the United States pretty far behind on Pez and on Decaden. They add up to slightly less than Max Burio's combo by himself, and he's just not showing any signs of missing anyway. What a performance, man. You have got to give this man his flowers. This is going to be a second point on the board for Hong Kong, and it's going to be all because of him.
Yeah, I mean, way to step up in a tough match like this one. Max Burio has been absolutely on point. I mean, carried them to that earlier point with the USA's first pick, and now doing exactly that again. FC on lag train. That is so impressive. I mean, you look at the rest of the lobby, 700k max score. Look at the teammates, both around that 400k mark. But Max clutches up, and man, I did not know Max was this good. I'm gonna be honest.
He has been playing at this level. Yeah, he has been playing at this level through this tournament. I mean, you know, he was a big part of why they seeded second. He's obviously played a key role in their run into the winners final here with the score lines that they've had with only losing 2 maps per match. It's been him and Misha Awa really the whole way through. He is, you know, it's been 1A and 1B scenario with those two in terms of their performance throughout this tournament. Really, really impressive match in and match out from him. It makes you wonder. Really makes you wonder what this match would look like if Misha Awa were here. The fact that it's 5-2 and we've had a couple of close wins for the United States you know, that have led to that as well. You add in a second, you know, kind of a backing score for a couple of those picks, and who knows, this scoreline could flip over. It could be dead even. But instead, you know, Hong Kong still does have the 2 points on the board, and 2 more than anybody else has been able to come up with in total, and their own pick, right? So, if you could, you know, match could technically still be interesting.
Yeah, they could still bring it back if we see a few more performances like that from Max Burio. It is definitely inspiring, though, for Hong Kong and OWC, because last year, I think, quite famously, they had one of the steepest drop-offs in terms of qualifier seeding we've ever seen, qualifying in 40th, which is the roughest year Hong Kong has had in OWC for quite some time. But if Misha Awa has gotten this good this quickly, and Max Burio is also improving incredibly quickly, then we could see them right back with the best teams next year, and they're going to go for Hard Rock too. This is unsurprising. I think the Hard Rocks generally really suit the players available. Max Burio and F2X especially have played a lot of Hard Rock for this Hong Kong roster, and they're going to look to continue to do so. This Hard Rock is a bit more of an alt-focused pick, good amount of finger control, good amount of aim control, some light tech as well.
Yeah, this is there's kind of a lot that goes into this particular pick. I mean, it's maybe what you'd expect out of a collab involving Pocket and Cubby. Like, you're not going to get something anywhere near straightforward. It's going to be a lot of different styles of mapping, a lot of different patterning. It took Hong Kong quite some time to return to the Hard Rock pool after winning that opening breakpoint on the HR1. Obviously, completely different style of maps at really opposite ends of the spectrum, but as you said, if you've got players here today who are going to be comfortable on the Hard Rock, and if you've got a mod pool that feels like it might be reasonably approachable against the team on the other side, might as well do it. And I don't know. I mean, we've got Max Burio on the level he's on today. If he can put up another great showing, feels like anything is possible on a map where you can break on a lot of different things. But if he can keep it up the way he did on Lag Train, could be a world where you get another point here for the HK side, and you suddenly make this match look a lot closer and feel a lot more intense and a little more anxiety for the United States.
Certainly could. We do see Taquito and Flames here. I haven't seen too much of either of them. Flames Tier played one map earlier, but that was it. Kato, first map in this match, and funnily enough, Hong Kong yet to win one of their own picks. They've just been sniping a couple of the USA picks here and there, so maybe this will be the first. This one is a full minute shorter though than Lag Train, so it can be occasionally on these shorter maps a little bit tougher to solo carry because the maps themselves tend to be more difficult, which means more misses, and you are not likely expecting to see an FC on this map. I mean, if there was any match we'd see an FC on this, it would be this one, but would be very impressive as Flames Tier is going to find a very early miss. It is a short map, but not that short. Should have time to recover, but follows it up with another slider break. Maybe it just needs a second to settle into the map, but maybe give some hope for Hong Kong if they could put a third point on the board here, start to get some momentum and start to bring this match back. But here we go into the first cut stream here. We get into these really tricky flow aim patterns. Flames Tier not having a good time on this map so far. Hong Kong still holding all three full combos. We do see F2X struggling a little bit with the accuracy, and that is going to keep this score late close, but there goes the Caden now. F2X trades, but that was your low accuracy FC, so that was the one you'd want to drop, if any, for Hong Kong. And now it's Taquito trying to fend off Max Burio and A21, and Hong Kong, with half the map to go, have a very real shot at this one, TNG.
They do indeed. This is looking really impressive. Again, Max Burio on the FC. A21 drops immediately into this challenging section just at the 2/3 mark. And now the 1v1, it's Taquito versus Max Burio. The score lead goes to the United States. It flickers both ways. The accuracy doing a lot of work for the USA. Taquito on the 99 and the 98-95 for the other two. Meanwhile, F2X all the way down 93. Max Burio, Taquito, they trade. I actually think that's better for the USA to a certain degree, as they take the lead over. Decaden goes down again. It's Flames Tier against F2X, the only two combos in the lobby. It's a 3% accuracy difference between those two, though, and there goes F2X, and I think there go the chances of Hong Kong on this pick. The ignominy of getting 2 points in the match and only having them on break points might be rearing its ugly head here for Hong Kong, as the United States going to claim another break point right back. Just shy of 200k. It was close until it wasn't, and it still was kind of close. But the accuracy really doing a ton of work there for the United States. 98, 98, 96 versus 96, 96, 93. That played a pretty big role in that win. And of course, Taquito, 726k versus the highest score on Hong Kong, Max Burio at 636. Once more top scoring his team, once more trying to do everything he could to carry, but unfortunately coming up just a little bit short.
Yep, and this map is like a fantastic example of how important accuracy actually is on Score V2, even though it is still weighted significantly less than combo. Taquito and Max Burio had pretty much identical combos throughout that map. Taquito up by 2% accuracy, and that's the extra 100,000 score, and of course with them winning by 180,000, then it was very relevant to the outcome of that map. And it looked so good for so long, TNG, bit of a heartbreaker for Hong Kong. And the United States find themselves on match point, but the United States pick seems to be where Hong Kong has been shining so far. So maybe this is exactly what Hong Kong needs. Just, let United States pick, get a third break point, forfeit your own pick, and keep the break points rolling. Maybe that's how Hong Kong can still win.
Yeah, how many break points have we had in this match now? Is it 5 or 6? It feels
all of
like
Hong
a
Kong's
lot.
picks and 2 of US's, and so that's, I think 5.
Maybe it's the strat. I feel like maybe you just pick Hard Rock 3. Oh, you picked Nomad 5.
Oh, that is
Bocce time. That is Bocce time.
Yep.
It's CS8 AR8.
Yeah.
Bocce time.
It would also be Mishawa time, but unfortunately not. And there's another one of those picks from the United States. You have Bashi on Hong Kong. I don't know outside of Misha that you have anybody that can play CS8 AR8 to a really high level. I mean, to be fair, very few players can. And so you just let Bashi do his thing and probably just run away with this one.
Yeah, I think there's unfortunately a very real concern of this map not being particularly close in this matchup. I hate to say that in such blunt terms, but We've kind of seen how some of these more gimmicky picks in this matchup have gone, and it has not always been great for the Hong Kong side. The United States has just been kind of flexing their muscle, shall we say, on certain of those picks. So there's the concern of that happening again. I mean, geez, it was what, 630k on No Mod 4, 730k on Free Mod 1, 730k on Hidden 2. I mean, it's just been it's been kind of brutal at times.
It has. We'll have to see what Hong Kong can do. Maybe Max Bureau is like secretly just cracked at CS8 AR 8 as well. You never know.
I'm not sure. Not sure. This is the sort of, and this is like the sort of thing that you just don't see, right? How often do you get CS8 in a pool? Not often.
Yeah.
Go with not often.
Yeah.
So, A21 saying time to be a clown. That does not have really inspire confidence, I guess I should say. Really does not inspire confidence. But who knows? Maybe Max Bureau is secretly the GOAT, and he's about to drop 800k on this and lead Hong Kong to another breakpoint because the script demands it.
Yep. Since we are apparently doctors today in this commentary booth, I may have to diagnose Hong Kong with missing Misha syndrome. It's a tough one.
ICD-10 M40.3, missing Misha unspecified.
Exactly.
Well, in we go to what could be the last map of this matchup. USA holding a pocket full of match points at 6-2. Pez, Bashi, Ethan, pretty scary on this. Max Bureau A21 F2X on paper, perhaps a little less scary on this, but who knows? Anything is possible on just the craziest gimmick of all time.
And Bashi does find the miss, but let's look at some of these accuracies. I was going to say Pez struggling, but F2X having a pretty tough time on this one, understandably. Who practices CS8 aside from Bashi? Not many. Pez finds another miss, and it is actually Thantrix, the only one holding combo. Is that an FC from Thantrix? Okay, not anymore. Now it's going to be Bashi versus Max Bureau, but F2X, second best combo. It's just the accuracy right now. Unfortunately for F2X, that accuracy is so much lower than Pez that that 100 combo is not going to be doing a whole lot for Hong Kong here. And so we basically need to see Bashi miss and Max Bureau to absolutely pop off. Unfortunately, Max Bureau falls as Pez trades, and now it's just Bashi doing Bashi things.
Yeah, the only combo left in the lobby over 100 there for a little bit until Ethan put up a few more circles, and this might just feel like a little bit of a slow death. There's a lobby wipe on that stupid slider pattern, except for Ethan, because of course Ethan hit that. Why not? Ethan hit that. That was pretty cool, that circular kick slider slow pattern, and then he misses on nothing. All right. A21 saying, you know, he was gonna clown or whatever. I think that might just be the entire lobby on a map like this. There's so few people who are ever gonna put up, you know, good quote-unquote scores on this. You're just not gonna see it. The top scorer in the lobby, I don't know, maybe somebody gets 350k. Bashi could get like 350k maybe if he hits a bunch of the patterns in the ending. Maybe 400, and that's just how it goes on CS8 AR8.
Yes, it is, and I think it's safe to say that United States are going to be taking this one and securing their place in the winners bracket grand finals, and I think they're certainly making a case for themselves despite giving up 2 points as the strongest 3WC roster we've ever seen. They, at the end of this match, improve their record to 26-2, which is far and away the best record we've ever seen through finals in 3WC. And we'll see what they can do in the finals. I mean, Hong Kong, have to give them credit.
Just hang on. Can we just watch Bashi for a sec? Just watch Bashi for a sec here on these patterns. Yeah, he hit the entire ending.
That is.
He hit the entire ending. No way he hits this pattern too. No way he hits this pattern too.
Not the squares. Oh, the last note of the squares. It was so close.
That's messed up. That was that. If he hits that pattern, it's a 1v3. I'm sorry to interrupt the waxing the poetic, but that was an absurd ending performance from Bashi. He went up to 517k. I thought he was going to get 400 something, but he proved me the underestimate of all time. But yes, so 7-2 United States. Relatively strongest 3WC team ever. I think, the caveat there being 2024 South Korea had, I would argue, potentially stronger opposition than this year's United States team. I think the other teams were, relatively speaking, a bit stronger compared to them, so their score lines didn't look quite as dominant. But when you look at that team that had Forum and Fragrance and Amiya Kokoro, I forget off the top of my head who else, I think that team is still going to stand out as one of the greatest of all time. But United States is coming for the crowd.
They certainly are, but they're not out of the woods just yet. They had a great showing here, but not the quarterfinals. We're a couple rounds past that. This is the finals. The United States winning 7-2, but it was a good showing from Hong Kong, right? With the resources they had, they got blown out on a few maps, but they were able to keep a lot of the maps relatively close and even get 2 breakpoints despite missing Misha Awa. So I have no doubt Hong Kong will be back in the grand finals, and with Misha, they should be pretty competitive. And I believe that is our last match for the weekend.
Yeah, this sets up our grand finals weekend. We have Hong Kong falling to losers bracket final. They'll face off against South Korea, who, of course, defeated Australia 7-4 just a little bit earlier today. And, of course, then you'll have the United States waiting comfortably from their perch in the winner's side for the winner of that match, which is going to be an interesting one. We're going to have to see what happens with the Misha Awa situation. We're going to have to see what happens with Suwagi, because there's a very real world where South Korea gets to grand finals once more if the Hong Kong players aren't all available next weekend. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with their player availability. But for now, it's going to be United States to grands from winner's side. You've got Hong Kong, South Korea in the losers grand final, as people like to call it. And we have the grand finals map pool showcase, I believe, coming up 18:30 UTC. So maybe a little bit of time until that one. I don't even know what time it is anymore. It's 16 UTC. So got a couple hours on the grand finals map pool showcase. So make sure you're following the stream. Make sure you're in the Discord server, so that you can be notified when that one goes live, because everybody loves a good grand finals map pool showcase. They're very fun.
They certainly do. And one last thing before we take off, if you want to show some support for these teams, these players that put a lot of effort into practicing these pools and giving us some fun matches, feel free to donate to the 3WC prize pool. I would not be surprised. These two teams likely going to be seeing that prize pool. So if you want to support these two teams specifically, you can follow the link in chat there. And you can, all funds go directly to the prize pool. But that is going to do it for us. Huge congratulations to the United States. It was an incredible match from them, as it has been all tournament. I've been iFlame, joined by T1G. And last but not least, thank you guys all so much for watching. We'll see you back for the pool showcase later today.